Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? So today, for this part of the notes, I'm going to make the video for you. We're going to be covering section 3.3, objectives 1 and 3. Okay, you should have the handouts in the front of the class. And what we're going to talk about today is called the intercepts. So we're going to identify intercepts of a graph. The intercepts are basically intercept. Kind of reminds me of the rhymes with the word intersection or where the line crosses the x or y axis. Okay, so intercept kind of rhymes with intersect, and that's how I remember that the intercepts are where we cross the x or the y axis. So as a reminder, this is your x horizontal. Remember, x is horizontal, and that's going to come in a little bit later. And y is your vertical. So let's take a look at this graph, at this line here. We have this line, and it crosses the x-axis. Let me change this. Let's leave this as x-axis, and it runs horizontal. And then let's keep this as y-axis, and it runs vertical, which is up and down. And then this horizontal is left to right. So again, let's look at where does this line cross? Well, it crosses here at the x. So there's one intercept. And then we cross again on the y-axis. So the intercepts are like, let me draw. It's either where it crosses this line or this line, the axis. And the way we write them is we just write the coordinate point. So this is 0, 1. Okay. The y-intercept is 0, 1. And the x-intercept right here is -1, 0. So our x-intercept is -1, 0. And our y-intercept is 0, 1. Let's look at this definition. A point where a graph crosses the y-axis is called the... What's going on with my pen here? Intercept. Oh, I think I might be running out of battery. Intercept. And the x-axis is called the x-intercept. That's a P right there. On the way we identify them as what a coordinate point. Okay. Let's take a look at number 2. Okay. So remember, we have our y-axis, and then we have our x-axis here in blue. Where do we cross? Well, we've got 2 intercepts. Actually, we have 3 intercepts. Okay. We've got this one where it crosses the x, and then we've got this one where we cross the y. I want you to fill in the coordinate points here, and then fill in your coordinate points here. So you should have 2 coordinate points for the x-intercept, and you should have 1 for the y-intercept. You work those on your own. You know what? Is it because I did this? Okay, do this one on your own. Let's look at this last definition. X-intercepts have Y values of, well, let's take a look. At our first examples, did you notice something? What's the Y value of the X-intercept? The X-intercept has a Y value of 0, but the Y-intercept has an X value of 0. So 0, 0. Interesting. That's going to be true all the time, no matter what, every single time. The X-intercept will always have a value of Y will be 0, and the Y-intercept, the X value will always be 0. Okay. So our definition here is X-intercepts have Y values of 0, and Y-intercepts have X values of 0. Okay. We're not doing objective 2. We're not going to worry about that today. But let's take a look at objective 3. This one's called Identify and Graph Vertical and Horizontal Lines. So remember, I told you guys which way is vertical. I'm going to draw little arrows. Vertical is up and down. The way I remember is because the V reminds me of an arrow that points down. So I remember that. And horizontal, I think of like the horizon, looking straight across the horizon, so that goes left and right. Okay. Let's graph the following linear equation. Here it's telling us that y is equal to 5. No matter what, y is equal to 5. It does not change. So I'm going to put 5 for every single y. And when I graph this, I'm going to plot these coordinate points. So this is 3, 5. This is 0, 5. And this is negative 1, 5. So, I don't want that. 3, 5. 0, 5. Oh, wow, look at, they're all at 5. And then negative 1, 5. And when I connect the dots, I get a straight line. Now, is this going left or right or up and down? Is this horizontal or vertical? You tell me. Horizontal lines. The graph of y equals c, whatever number, c can be any number, where c is a real number, and a horizontal line with the y-intercept of 0, comma, whatever the number is. So no matter what y is, you're going to have it intersecting at some value of y. Okay. That's all this definition says. Now let's take a look at number 6, graph a linear equation. Okay, so just like the other one where it told us y was equal to 5, this one says x is equal to negative 3. No matter what, we're always going to have x equals negative 3. Does it tell us anything about y? There's no y in the equation, so remember from the standard form, okay, since we only have x, there's no b must be 0. And then it's equal to negative 3. So since y, if b is 0, y is 0, this has to be 0 in order for x to equal negative 3. So these all have to be 0. X equals negative 3. X equals negative 3. No matter what value, I did this wrong. no matter what value we pick for y, it's always going to be 0. So is this a vertical or horizontal? Okay, vertical lines of graph where x equals c, where c is any real number, is a vertical line with the x-intercept at whatever the number is, comma 0. This and this will always be the same. Okay, and that's it for objectives 1 and 3. If you have any questions, let me know. You'll have some practice on this on Wednesday, and then we'll need to know these for when we go into the next section, which is slope and intercept form.